today, if you remember the good old days where we used to jump on when Columbia House offered 10 CDs for a penny, well, but if you're a ham today, then you may have a few of your own. Yep, we're going to talk about subscriptions and memberships and what we think of them next on Live Free and Ham. Hello and welcome to Live Free and Ham Podcast. It's your weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. And we're thrilled to have you here, whether you're a regular listener or tuning in for the first time. And we know we've had a bunch of new people jump in, so we're glad to have you here. And thanks for joining us for tonight's episode. All right, so let's get into our show. I'm your host, call sign N1JUR. First name's Eric, as always, and I'm with my great co-hosts.
It's Paul, N1OG.
And Todd, W1STJ.
Wonderful, guys. Well, good. Welcome to see you guys again. We took a little bit of a hiatus here during Christmas and whatnot, so we're kind of getting back in the saddle here. So you're bound to hear some of our screw ups and mess ups as we try to relearn all this all over again. But with that, as we always like to do in every episode, we like to update you guys and catch you up on a few things. So as always, our storefront up at livefreeandham.com/shop is where you can head over and check out all of our new merch. We've got some awesome new items in there for our cold winter weather friends. Paul is sporting the new Live Free and Hat beanie. We've got our classic Live Free and Hat beanie, which is only just our state logo there with the Live Free and Ham antenna in it. We're going to probably be putting some hoodies out there with some of our favorite sayings on shirts and stuff like that. There we go. There's our Live Free and Ham classic one that Paul just put out there. There are plenty of great, cool winter stuff you can pick up there to keep yourself warm while you're sitting here listening to Live Free and Ham. So with that, we also have still left in the coffers there. We have a few left. We've got our favorite Live Free and Ham etched classic whiskey bourbon glass. And, they are all of it still available. There's a few left. So, if you haven't picked one up now, I can't tell you, you just need to get the ball rolling there and head over to the store and pick yourself up one. There's a lot of happy folks that have already grabbed theirs and they've sent us pictures and shared the love of Live Free and Ham through, their favorite spirit. And so, as I said, our storefront's got them. Once they're gone, they are gone, my friend. And, you could be a sad ham, which we don't want you to be. So you need a Live Free and Ham glass. Simple as that. All right. So with that, I'm going to only touch this on a little bit. We've got our pigs as always. You can head over to getham.com and grab one of our little oinkers there and spread the love. Show folks, and those guys that are sporting some great antennas on their cars that you recognize them. You see how cool their ham setups are. You can now drop a small little pig with your call sign on it and point them at Get Hammed on the little tokens affixed to that pig's body there. And it's an awesome little way to say, hey, I recognize you. I'm a ham. I love what you got set up there. And it's a cool thing that, we're trying to just start as grassroots. So, hey, go pick up a few. We got a couple of small starter packages up on getham.com and get your pig set up. But if you want to do this in your own club or you want to do this in your own little world, reach out to me. I'm always happy to share, kind of my secret sauce and where you can pick the stuff up. And you can start to kind of spread the love there yourself and enjoy having some fun doing some really cool stuff in the community. So, all right. Well, with that, we've got a couple more things. We always love feedback, and we are starting to see the feedback rolling in. So we are appreciative of you guys. Thank you guys for reaching out and sharing your thoughts. We've got some really good stuff today we want to share with you from a few listeners, but the way to do that is you can reach out to us in 3 simple, easy ways. You can send us via an SMS text. That link is in all of our show notes and description below. Just click that link, send us a quick message, and we'll get the fan mail from you. You can now leave us a voicemail, and we've got a voicemail that we want to share with you tonight. Our lines are open, and that number is 978-233-1142. All you have to do is just dial that number, leave us a voicemail, and we will share it on our next episode. And we'll, tear it apart and talk about it. That's what we're hoping. So, and then, if you're the typical, type that just likes to send an email, you can always send us an email, livefreeandham@gmail.com. How boring, but, we'll still accept them. And we'll read it on our next episode. Whether you send us a review or you got a question, we're here to help you out and we want to share, whatever you got. And so send it our way. And as always, we've got two great things, as we always keep sharing, is that we always do a live stream. And in this month, in February, we are going to be having a live stream soon. So the way you get in on the know and know when we actually go live is to head over to our YouTube channel, click the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you get notified anytime we go live, and you can join in on all the action. And I don't know how about you, but if you remember 2 months back, we ended up having our Shack roast, and that went awesome. I had a blast. We all had a blast. I think we all had a lot of drinking going on, but we had some really great roasts there, and we all feel at this point that it's a great way, and we're going to do this every year. So if you didn't get in on the action this year, then there's definitely a possibility that the opening will come again next year. So we'll love to have new folks there and new shacks to roast. And if you are always like us and you like to be in on the know and you want to be the cool kid, you can always head over to our Patreon channel, or Patreon front. I don't know, Patreon membership. What are those things? You know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm rambling. But you can head over to our Patreon page and become a subscriber, and you will get free access. I didn't say free access. You will get access to membership to our back raw cut audio streams of all of our recorded episodes. So if you want to hear all of the back channels and all the fun stuff that we talk about before we start the show, and all the stuff in between, feel free to come be a membership, and you get a lot of great other cool rewards that we give to our membership base that you don't normally get as just a regular subscriber. So go over and check that out and become a Patreon member. It's really easy, and we'd love to have you help support the show. All right, so with that, we are going to dive into our first segment, and I am slow on the draw here. What button do I hit again, my friend? Yeah, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Everybody, we got some news.
Slow down, Boog. Let me handle this. We've got some news. I've got bad news and bad news.
I have reviewed ship's personnel, Captain.
Congratulations, you've got mail.
All right. Well, with that, Todd, what do we have for the email in the email inbox? Do we have anything at all that we can share?
Yes, we do. Problem is, I don't know who it was from. It was from someone who listens to this podcast from O'Fallon, Missouri. And he or she would like to say, okay, guys, you guilted me into sending you this text. As I'm watching your latest podcast, I can't help but wonder, what the heck is that behind Eric? Is that a TV or an aquarium or what? So, Eric, let's find out what exactly is behind you when you don't have your screen covered. Because sometimes you don't cover your screen and you have some kind of funky electronic thing back there.
Yeah, I am a modest person sometimes, but when I don't have my screen, green screen up, you get to see all of my, former glory, as they say. And what you're referring to in the background there is my Geochron in a frame. It probably didn't come in very well, but it was a video I did on my channel. And so if you're interested in what that looks like, I'll throw the link in the show notes so you can check that out. But
of course you will.
Of course it will. Do self-promotion. That's the way it goes, my friend. I do it all for you too as well. So, you can overcheck that out. But that was my Geochron. That was my one and only attempt to create some fine artwork. And I have to say so myself, it turned out pretty good. So, I love my Geochron, but now that my wife can actually walk by it and think it's a regular frame, then I've scored, bonus points for a long time. So it's all good.
So being behind you, so every time you want to look at it, you can actually turn around, so you can't look at it and.
Yeah, true. But here's my thought is, like, I used to have it on a 50-inch monitor above my head, and I found myself not looking at it anyway. So, and that was in front of me. So why not put it behind me? And then now it's just a nice, pretty piece of artwork.
Now you can just put a mirror up in front of your shack and then just look up at the mirror. It'll just be reversed.
I'll put a camera. I'll put a camera posting that so I can bring in a video feed of that over on the wall.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. That's just overkill. So yeah, that's my Geochron.
All right. Well, thanks for the email. Next time, just Let us know who you are, call sign, name, something. But we do appreciate it, and it was quite the surprise when it came up, and I saw it. So I was very happy to see it. But then when I read it, I was like, wait a minute, who's it from? It just tells us the last 4 digits of your phone number. So,
which we've put on, several social media sites and a few others that you wouldn't tell us who your call sign was. All right. Cool. Well, with that, we also have a cool little voicemail. So let's kick that one off. This one, I think, is our second voicemail that we've had so far as, having a voicemail box there. So let's play the quick voicemail here.
Good afternoon. First time listener, just heard your checking off episode and a request to send comments like this via voicemail or text message. Just wanted to say great show. I'm going to keep giving it a try. And if you are ever looking for some new content ideas, there's a technician-friendly activity that runs the entire month of January called Winter Heat from hamactive.com, HAMACTIVE.com. It starts 0000 UTC January 1, which would be New Year's Eve around 6 p.m. Central. And I know you guys are on the East Coast, so obviously adjust accordingly. Check it out. I'm not affiliated. I'm just a participant who really enjoys it. And my call sign is Kilo 9 Delta Golf Yankee. Name is Chris from Highland, Illinois. Thanks for the show. Merry Christmas.
No,
Happy New Year.
If only he had sent that like back in November.
I know, right? Exactly. We'd all be able to participate.
So how do we get that out there earlier? We're gonna have to.
Well, funny thing with Winter Heat, I don't know. Have you guys ever participated in Winter Heat, or you know of it?
No,
I know of it.
Okay.
My first year that I was licensed, there was a combined conjunction thing with Last Man Standing. His Last Man Standing was like running down their last season, and so they were one of the Winter Heat stations.
Oh.
And so so it was really cool. I tried like heck as a technician to get through, and I was still dealing with mic fright issues at that point. So
give me FT8, please. I need FT8. Yeah, I similar. I had learned about them. I can't remember whether it was on Facebook or some, the social media sites, and they were trying to very heavily promote it. And at that point, I think it was like they were running it for like 2-3 months, just because it was like a winter thing, and it was all about a points structure. And they kind of revamped it. I was over on their website a couple of weeks ago because I saw another post from them. And every once in a while, I'll see on Facebook somebody will post a heat map when the G3 storm happens. They post a ton of that stuff because they know VHF and UHF is going to be a blast. And it's always hilarious because I look at the heat maps and where they do it from their point of origin, the farthest tip of it is just barely crossing over into New Hampshire. So almost like there's no way in the world they're going to be able to reach all the way to Ohio. So I could only dream if I had a butt ton of power and a bunch of Yagis pointing at them that I'd be able to make contacts. But it's good to know. I mean, some of the heat maps that they posted are like go all the way down to like Georgia and Missouri and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's huge. That's like a huge swath coverage. So it sounds like the fun event. We should definitely have those guys on and chit chat with them to kind of promote that a little bit, because it sounds like a real cool way to kind of, do some VHF, UHF work when you normally don't do it.
Yeah, we'll just have to remember to reach out to them like November.
Yeah, or August. We'll shoot in August and hopefully get November. Well, cool. All right. Well, with that, do we have anything more in the bucket there, Todd?
Nothing else that I see. Did you get anything I didn't?
No, I think you got it all covered, and I could play the other voicemail message, but that was just for some Pujat asking me to call her back because she's got some Arabian prince who owes me some money. So I opted not to play that one because I don't want to. If it is true, then we'll be buying some flexes later, but I highly doubt it. All right. Well, okay. With that, then I guess we're going to roll into, and as always with any of our, if you want to leave us a review or you want to, say hello and you want to leave us a voicemail, you can always reach us at 978-233-1142, or you can send us a voicemail. You can send us an SMS text through our link in our show notes, and we'll be always happy to read it on our next episode or when we receive it. So, like I said, if you can get it earlier in, then we'll be able to read it earlier. If you get it in later, it's the way it goes. But we appreciate you, Chris, for leaving us a voicemail, and we encourage everybody else to. So definitely do it. All right. With that, we'll roll into
Doing good. Good. Doing good.
You do. That's good.
Do good? Do good?
You're doing good.
Absolutely, I do. Good. Good.
Doing good, Bob. Doing real good.
Right now, my only outlet is my ham radio.
All right. Well, as always, we all aspire to do good in ham radio. So whether you're assisting in a disaster, you're providing communications for a road race, or maybe you're hosting the coolest POTA meetup that you've done for your club, we all love to participate in those activities. So we want to showcase, because we're tired of folks allowing the negative voices to overshadow all of our cool ham radio enjoyment. So I'm going to raise my fist and say, bring on the good deeds, my friend. We'll share your story with us. And so whether you've, like I said, had your first ham radio experience with a total stranger when you were activating a park, or you're teaching a student, a family member, the neighbors of the joys of ham radio, or, hey, you got the chance to demonstrate, to a new technician the thrills of HF at some field day in the future, well, then we want to hear about it. So with this week, we have been graced by one of our great YouTube friends and part of the Hamily there, Carlos, K9. Wow. Help me out there, Paul. OL. Thank you. My gosh. Sorry, Carlos.
Kilo 9 or Oscar Lima.
I totally botched that. And, it's the CRS. I am turning, I've already turned 50 at this point, so I'm way over the hill and, really in some serious trouble. So I'm going to have to go take my CRS pill and hopefully I can recover. So he sends us a nice quick email here saying, hey, we should take a look at, there is a group in pulling it up here in one of his local clubs where they're doing a build an Elmer for people that might need help. And I think this is a really cool idea, because in essence, how many times you run into some new technicians and they have no idea what to do. They're at a loss to figure out where they go next after they got the technician license. So why not have a program like this? And this is a perfect idea. And so what they try to do is they are looking to, connect prospective new hams, and they're looking to contact them via email, and they're just going to reach out to them, and they're going to say, hey, how can we guide you? How can we help you? How can we, provide you some, mentoring, or just even some general, assistance, or an ear to be able to, ask a ton of questions and be able to get the answers you need without getting the snarky comments or, having to say, well, go read a manual. I read my ARRL antenna book for, 15 years before I started talking about antennas. But sorry, I did that in my wrong voice. Anyway, so, they are offering things like general questions, safety questions, the typical technical questions, or, maybe you want to dive a little deeper, talk about Morse code, digital modes, maybe you want to get into antennas and station planning, or you're one of the guys that have deep pockets and you want to build a tower. These things are definitely questions you need to get answers to. So, these guys are available, and they're willing and waiting to help you guys out and get you plugged into the hobby. So if you're interested, we will leave the link down in the show notes, and you can always check that out. Or maybe you want to be a mentor and you want to help on that program. Maybe they are willing to, and they are out seeking for mentors. So you can reach out to them and offer your services, and maybe you can start to spread some positivity in the hobby and get more folks into aspects of the hobby that they may not be that sure they want to dip a toe into. You can help them, lead them the way, and we are all pretty much perfect examples of one another being mentors to each other. I mean, I kicked Todd's butt in getting his general, and then what did we do? We went out and did a POTA. We had just met Paul initially, and we were hanging out, and we invited him to POTA, and God, he can't stop POTAing. So it's like it's an infectious thing. It's really cool. It's awesome to have a bunch of other people do things like this in the the hobby with. So, if you aren't a mentor already, start doing it, but more so, hey, here's an outlet to be able to start doing it in. So thank you, Carlos, for sending this to us. We will make sure we spread the word and get this stuff out to folks so we can get more people in the hobby and excited about it and doing some really cool stuff in the future, because God knows, that's the only way this hobby will stay moving forward. So cool. All right. Well, with that, as always, we say with this, you can always share content with us. If you got a great story, and you want to share with us, so there's 3 easy ways. You can send us a voicemail, and I'm going to drill this home every time, 978-233-1142. And eventually we're going to have to write an AI jingle on this. Get on that one. Great, Paul. You can head over to our website at liveFreehandHam.com/do good, all one word. Fill out the form there and leave a comment or two, and we'll be glad to share it on our next do good section. And if you are one of those type A's, and we've had a few, you can always send Paul and N1OG a WinLink email over HF. No, none of this Telnet crap. I don't want to see a Telnet email. I want to see a true HF, RF to RF, kind of scenario. Send him a WinLink email, with your do good in it, and we will be glad to have you on the next live stream. We'll coordinate that. So if you want to, get your 5 seconds or 55 seconds or 5 hours or whatever YouTube live stream you're on with us, of fame, we're glad to have you on there and hang out with us, because, we want to support our community. And that's one way we can, reach out to you guys and have you be part of that. So, yeah. All right. Well, with that, I still have laxed and dropped the ball, but
and now for something a little extra with Todd, W1STJ.
I'm not doing it.
It's the same picture.
I'm not doing it.
The marketing department failed. They're on vacation still.
Jesus, I sent it to you like in November.
Yeah, you did. No, you didn't. You sent it to me like in early December. But anyway, time does not matter here.
You know what? I am going to harass you on every way I can communicate with you about changing that picture.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Look, when an 11-year-old looks at it and was like, that's a bad picture.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, with that, you've heard it here. This is where we help Todd study for his extra class license, and hopefully, when he does, we'll improve the picture. In each episode, we pick 3 questions from the extra class question pool to test his knowledge, hoping he gets his upgrade. If you'd like to follow along, you can always head over to hamstudy.org. It's an awesome resource to help you prepare for your test, and is recommended by 3 out of 4 volunteer examiners, because the ARRL is never around to comment. But no big deal. All right. So without further delay, I hand it over to our VE Quizmaster, Paul. Take it away, sir.
All right, Todd. So we're on sub-element number 7.
Which I haven't gone all the way through, but okay.
But you're doing great. So we're going to stick with it.
Yes, we are.
All right. So question number 1. What is the function of taps in a digital signal processing filter? Is it A, to reduce excess signal pressure levels? B, select the point at which baseband signals are generated? C, provide access for debugging software? Or D, provide incremental signal delays for filter algorithms?
Oh my God. All right. I haven't seen this one yet in my studying, so I will. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to say B.
I always thought taps was something that they play at the very end of every day in the military, but I'm going to go with B, because it's testing of the point baseband.
Oh.
Well, we both failed.
My other one was D. Second was damn it. That was my first choice, and then I changed it.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh
I
boy.
should really just go with my
Provide
first.
incremental signal delays for filter algorithm.
So
And
that's
so
6
your
times fast.
yeah, but your hint is only one answer has the word delay in it.
Okay.
And so, long story short, the tapped delay line has become a general scheme of making high Q filters in many different ways. So more taps increase the steepness of the filter roll-off while increasing the calculation time, delay, and for high order filters, limiting the bandwidth. There you go.
We'd have more luck playing pickup sticks with our butt cheeks than
Yep, that's the way I look at it.
All right, Todd. Question number 2. Which of the following types of linear voltage regulator operates by loading the unregulated voltage source? Is it A, constant current source, B, a series regulator, C, a shunt current source, or D, a shunt regulator?
Ooh. Hate how they double those things up.
I know.
Well, they use voltage source, so I'm going C.
Okay, Todd said A, and A is incorrect. Eric said C, and C is also incorrect. Correct answer is D, a shunt regulator. So an example of a shunt regulator is using a Zener diode in series with a resistor between supply and ground. The Zener diode establishes a constant voltage drop and the resistor sets a constant current. Note that you can immediately dismiss 2 of the possible answers because regulator appears in both the question and the answer.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Drugs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
All right.
One
So
for 2.
you're definitely not going to hear the song tonight. But,
but I haven't I haven't seen any of these questions. I must not be very far into 7.
It's all right. Hey, there's a first time for everything.
And this is actually the first time that we're ahead of Todd in his studying, like in terms of chapter or sections.
Yes, ever so slightly.
Hurry up, let's go faster so we get way ahead.
All right. So for the third and final question of the evening, which of the following measures a filter's ability to reject signals in adjacent channels? Is it A, noise factor, B, B, passband ripple? It's not bandpass, it's passband ripple. C, phase response, or D, shape factor?
Ooh. Oh man, why does that sound so familiar and I can't put my finger on it? I'm thinking after Todd answers.
Yeah.
C.
I'm gonna go with B.
Oh, all right. So Todd said C, and C is incorrect. Eric said A. I'm sorry, B. B is also incorrect.
Wow.
The correct answer is D, shape factor.
You know what? At least the extra got 3 wrong as well, so I don't feel so stupid.
I'm batting nothing. Send me back to the bench,
0.
Captain.
So your explanation is courtesy of Wikipedia. The shape
believe
factor,
everything in Wikipedia.
You know what? In this case, it has been vetted and it should be 100% accurate. So we're going to go with it. The shape factor is the ratio of bandwidths measured using 2 different attenuation values to determine the cutoff frequency. For example, a shape factor of 2:1 at 30 to 3 dB means the bandwidth measured between the frequencies at 30 dB attenuation is twice that measured between the frequencies at 3 dB attenuation. So this tells you how sharply and completely a filter attenuates signals outside of its passband. The other answers don't relate to comparing signals inside and outside the passband. So hint, reject all TV channels to get into shape.
You're a huge embarrassing failure.
Oh, I don't know where to begin or where to start or where to end, but I'd have to say, although to talk about the Wikipedia thing, didn't Richard say that they're creating like a website called Handbook or something like that? I can't remember. It was sort of going to be like more of the official guide to this like backstory of like explaining the text. But it's in it's in that episode. I think the link is there for that, so check it out there. But it's supposed to be a really good free resource that's hopefully going to replace some of that stuff. Not that that's a bad resource there, but it'll go into more depth.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what I've been doing is, I've been taking his advice and I've been adding. My old way was I'd go to like 6 and just study 6 and then do all of them. Now I'm just adding them up, so it'll throw in the other ones to keep me kind of current, which I kind of like. But again, it's taking me a longer time to get through the 99 questions in this section. 99? Really, Paul? You had to have 99 in one section? Like, come on.
Hey, listen, it's a 650 question pool.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot of questions to learn.
Well, you won't see all of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll see 50.
It's not hard for no reason.
God. When I get this extra, I'm going to do a whole I'm going to do a whole podcast of myself on how stupid I think the test is.
So you could do a live video on that one. Go ahead.
Absolutely, you can do that. Now, I do have to say, while Todd is still a general, we do have a couple license upgrades to announce.
Yep. We do.
So congratulations to Kimberly Cates, Kilo Charlie 1, Victor Yankee Mike, brand new technician. And so congratulations to her.
Good job,
and
Kimmy.
Also congratulations to Kilo Foxtrot 5, Echo Alpha November, who just upgraded from technician to general.
Nice.
Great job to both of them.
Welcome to the club.
Yep. Not that you weren't already in a technician,
the cool club.
Oh no, it's like so. Okay, if we're gonna start turning
all
on,
the
like,
cool
Paul
guys,
and I will have our extra hats here. What about
cool
you
guys.
generals? You learn nothing at all.
We're the people. You're the elite. You guys come up with these stupid questions.
I was once you. I was once you. That's all I have to say.
We choose truth over facts.
Yes, we do. Sure.
I'm going to start punching dicks.
I'll be honest though. This study go around, I'm actually learning a lot more than I did on the technician and the general. Like I learned stuff, but I feel like I understand it a lot more better.
Well, and here's the funny thing. My experience is like after I learned it all and I was like, oh, wow, I think I have it all. Once I got the, hey, you've passed, I was like, gone. It was like, okay, I'm right on to extra. Let's go, play in the band spaces I haven't been in before. That's really all I wanted. So with that,
Well, the Fort Mountain Repeater does a trivia net or trivia night net, and they were asking general questions, and I was able to answer them. I'm like, oh, I know that answer.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, I know, but you would think I'd forget that stuff too. There's stuff in there that I don't remember. I was like, oh, I know that answer.
Well, you'll be like that with extra one day, I promise.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You'll be like, I remember that question. It caused so much angst in my life.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this one up here. With that, we always say, so if you're on the journey of studying for your technician general or extra class license, then you want to head over to hamstudy.org because it's an awesome resource, just as Todd has said several times over and over again. And both Paul and myself have used it. And we appreciate those guys, Richard and Ben, thank you. That was a close one. For coming on previous episodes. So if you haven't actually caught that episode, you should go over and listen to that. It was an awesome episode, and that's in our back catalog there. But they are doing an awesome. They're doing what they say is the Lord's work there for awesome hams everywhere. So they are a great resource to getting your ticket or your upgrade to your ticket. And as Paul already did, if you've gotten your upgrade or you just recently got licensed, we want to hear about it. So send us an email, livefreeandham@gmail.com, and we will be shouting your call sign, your name from the hills and celebrating with you because it is an awesome honor to be part of something so cool as a ham radio, hobby. And, we want to welcome you in and encourage you to continue to further your understanding about RF and the hobby as a whole. So with that, we are going to get into our usual format. What's been going on your ham radio week, Paul?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. So, I've hunted some ham tubers. I believe that's the term that we're using these days. While they were out at parks, just today I got Rob N1 NUG, and I also got Tim NW9F. They were both at parks, kind of almost back to back with each other, so it was nice. I got Rob in Connecticut on 40 meters, fantastic, and then I got Tim on 20 meters, also great signal. I've been trying to situate some things with the desk, and I got projects on the workbench behind me that you can't see. But I'm slowly chipping away at things, and so overall, I would say it was a really good ham radio week. I'm back to doing daily nets, so that's a good thing. And otherwise, just videos, and feel free to check out my channel. I'm gonna have some lift free and ham stuff.
Wait, you're not gonna give him crap for this? He's just self-promoting right now. Come on,
you guys. This isn't the lift. This isn't the feel free to promote my private podcast.
It will be once you finally get off your ass and start recording the video, my friend.
It's called Live Free and Ham, not Live Free and promote my new podcast.
Well, without Live Free and Ham is not us, or whatever how that phrase goes. But
yeah. Without us, there is no Live Free and Ham.
Live Free and Ham. Thank you. See, someone's on the right page. Get with the program. All right, cool. So hunting. All right. Yeah, I saw Rob pop up a couple of times. I didn't get a chance to work him. I just was too lazy from the couch, sadly. But I did have a few folks that I hunted, but I'll talk about that in a bit. So Todd, over to you, man. How has your ham radio week been?
I've been like Paul, I've been kind of dreaming about fixing up my shack and to make it more user friendly, clean it up a little bit, looking to get a curve monitor and take some of these two monitors that I need more monitors, or I need a bigger space because I don't have enough
monitors.
Yeah. And I've been I've been doing some hunting and just getting on. I've been making contacts. I hear someone calling CQ. I've been calling them out, and radio is working great. The Flex is just phenomenal. I mean, it's just been really good. Getting able to pull out some weaker signals and adjust. And I did find out, I didn't even know this, but I can add antenna gain on the Flex.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know you could do that, and it actually made a difference. Like at least on the receive.
You know what that is? That's just AF gain. That's all that is.
Right.
Like on the F gain on your radio. That's what I think. Paul's like, how do you do that? Like, I want that wizardry stuff.
I would love to get antenna gain out of my radio.
And I was like, I wonder what this does. And then I was listening to like a weaker signal, and I pressed it, and it got a little bit clearer and louder, and I hit it again. I'm like, wow, this thing is great.
Flex has the magical wizardry wand, and
I'm like, all of a sudden I look outside, my antenna's like glowing, like bright red. Trees are catching on fire.
Just send a lot of heat up that way, and eventually your RF will get out.
But it's been fun. I've been debating whether or not to switch over to Mac. I am done with my PC. I literally want to freaking throw it in the dumpster. I can't stand PCs. My PC at work sucks, and this one really sucks because I'm trying to download a driver for Zach for his quadcopter, and I've watched YouTube videos. I've done it step by step, and the freaking thing won't log. And it's not just me having this problem; it's a whole bunch of people because Windows 11 sucks. So whoever's running Microsoft, get off your ass and just make things work like Apple does. And of course, my buddy's like, Todd, just get a PC, just get a Mac, and it'll just work. So
well, when you're ready to throw your PC in the dumpster, I've got a trash can right in front of my house. Just let me know that it's there, and I'll take care of it for you.
Recycling company. He's more than welcome to come over and dispose of your equipment in the proper way.
And the problem is like Mac is so expensive. But then I found out that Mac computers work like your phones do, or your watches, or your iPads. Like you trade them in. They are supposed to last for about 5 years. Like a phone is supposed to last 2 to 3 years, and then you trade it in, and you get. What do you mean? No, you do. I asked.
He's just like shrugging his head because in disgust.
So you buy the initial investment, right, and then you trade it in, and you'll probably be cheaper than buying a whole bunch of PCs over 5 years. Now this PC Eric built for me, and it runs great, but I keep hitting it because it's underneath my desk, and it doesn't need to be in this huge big case because it's only got 2 things in it, and it's all empty inside. But I can't do the podcast with the Macs unless I spend like 10 grand. So, which I don't understand why. Now, I talked to Ryan. He's got a MacBook Pro, and he says he has no problem with StreamYard or anything.
Not that he has a problem with StreamYard, but like when you get into some of the heavier OBS type stuff, you have to have so here's the deal. So Windows, when you build a PC yourself, you can add memory, you can add disk, you can add CPU changes to it because you have the capability. When you buy a Mac, if you buy it at a certain level, it's going to give you that certain amount of power. After that, you can't throw more power at it. The only thing you do is trade it in and get a faster computer because you need that little extra horsepower. So it's sort of like going out and buying releasing a BMW, realizing that the M series you bought is not fast enough to beat your neighbor. So you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go out and trade my M series back in and get a, whatever.
So what do I need? If I switch to Mac, what am I going to need? Because all the OBS does, I hit the virtual camera. That's it. So
well, you said you've always wanted to do a little bit more. I mean, right now, that's what we have you doing because we know we can get reliability out of you every week. So that's why you're set up that way. But, we'll put it this way. Mac will make it a little easier. It'll make it a little different in terms of getting to making it easier. But the software and the functionality is still the same. The difference is how they handle. What are you doing? I have no idea what Paul's putting on.
Is this all OBS stuff I won't be able to do on my Mac?
No, you could do that on the Mac. That's not a problem. But like with the OBS stuff, like you're going to have to understand how the audio system works in a Mac. It's very different than PC. It's more abstracted than it is in a PC world. Not to say that Windows doesn't have its bullshit crap that, we all deal with in fighting, trying to, make things work, with all the crazy technical stuff that we do in the background to, put these live streams on and, make it entertaining for folks. But yeah, we could go in for hours and we could probably turn into I
think right now I'm getting the MacBook Air because it's right and I need it for the flying stuff. And
use it for editing. You can do that.
Yeah, and I'm going to use it for editing because I do need to have. I mean, it's hard to mess around on the iPad. So
that's different.
It's a little different, and I'll be able to bring it to work. And while I'm sitting there in court for hours waiting for my case to get called in, I could probably find time to do editing. And then, I would like to switch the ham radio, like the Flex and everything, the stuff I do on ham radio to like a MacBook, what do you call it, Mini. And I've talked to Bill, and then I looked on like K-Murder, he does Mac. A lot of people do Mac on ham radio. But then, it's got the podcast stuff is, if I wanted to get what I have in this computer, I'd have to spend like $10,000, and it's not happening.
Yep. Well, and
so you may not be I might not be throwing this computer out that soon.
We don't think you will, but anyway.
Sure, you can go with Android if you like unintuitive, frustrating, illogical user interfaces. That's fine.
But it has been fun. Look, and then I've also been looking at like I put in a light over my monitors, desk, and it's a clamp on. But I also have this like V with the two monitors on it, and now I can't move one of the things because the light's in the way. So I got to look at like different ideas, and then I start looking at, eventually I've always wanted to get the curved monitor, just have one and clean it up. And then I'm like, all right, if I put one on one side of it and one on the other side, I could do two on top, maybe one vertical, one. So, but I started getting ideas from the shack, roast your shack thing, and I saw everyone's shack. So it kind of got me thinking like, that would be a good idea. So that's what I've been doing ham radio wise.
We've been effective. That's what Todd's motto is going to be for this 2025 season, at least quarter one, as he revamps his shack. But yeah, I agree. I think the shack roast is definitely fun to do. That was a long. I felt like that was telethon almost level, in terms of when was Jimmy going to start coming out and doing the Dance with the Girls, So I think at this point we'll definitely have to do that again next year, and next year we're going to have to. We have to boil that, because I'm sure everyone's going to come hard, and we're going to have to boil the grouping down a little bit to the top 10 so we can at least get a show in, because, we're not raising money for like, the Teachers Institute or anything.
That was a long podcast. I was like, holy crap. It was over 3 hours.
3 hours. That was one of our
3 hour live stream.
Yep. Yeah, we were getting into, HRCC podcast territory or Ham Radio Workbench. It was kind of crazy. Cool.
Hey, Eric, what'd you do in your ham radio week?
Oh, thank you for asking, Paul. I appreciate it. My ham radio week, like you had mentioned earlier, hunting was definitely on the docket. I worked. I didn't get a chance to work. I've worked Rob in the past, but I did see him pop up on Hammer a couple of times. I have been struggling to work Mike and to MAK. He always constantly on 20 meters. I can't get him for the life of me, no matter what, because he's just either got a rate. It's a signal skips over me or whatever. But I can hear him all the time. And Gray Mampota has always been a thorn in my side too, trying to get him as well. Like, I don't know why I can't hear him. And I just happened to, get the luck of the draw for both of them in the same, I think it was in the same day, like within an hour spread of each other, that I was like, oh, Mike popped on. I'm never going to hear him. And I heard him loud as day. And I was like, I'm going to call him. And I think he was on 40 meters. So he responded back, and I was just like, wow, man, it's finally good to get you in the log. And then, an hour later, Gray Mampota popped on, and I never hear him, and he was coming in 5'9", so the bands were doing amazing. So I think actually he was on 10 meters when I worked him, so I think that's to my benefit. That probably worked better than when he's usually on 20 or 40. But so I did a little of that. I just finally wrapped up some videos that I've been working on, and looking forward to some future stuff. I mean, there's a lot going on, a lot of different things, but enjoying playing ham radio when I can, and I'm hoping to see if I can reach some of my bucket items. I think I mentioned in previous episodes and whatnot that my bucket list is, we start to get more into the spring season. I think we're going to have to start, getting the legs stretched out there and start doing a little hiking, and, maybe getting into my first 4,000 footer and start playing in that space. So yeah, looking forward to that. So
quick question. When you start doing these 4,000 footers, are you going to get satellite trackers? No, I'm serious. No, like satellite, like communicators. You can get these. A couple $100. You can have a tracker that you can track your positioning, and you can, it'll. That
I'm
way,
going to rely on APRS like Mike does.
May not work. No one's using APRS.
Well, you aren't. I am.
You guys will be, yeah, but you need me to be able to track you. So
Well,
if
then I'll
you're
just
like,
let you know when I'm going.
to be like, Eric didn't
Besides,
return.
I'm not solely doing these by myself. I'll probably be doing with Paul. So in essence, he can beacon and I'll beacon to him, and so we'll be able to save each other's ass somewhat.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be like, welcome to Live Free and Ham. The other yin and yangs never came down from the frickin' 4,000 footer. So now you've got me, and I don't know how to do any of this technical crap.
Exactly.
And guess what? I'm changing the picture.
You don't know how.
That's right.
You might have to listen to his son, who's also editing videos for him too. Can you get that on your plate? Oh man! All right. Well, with that, we're gonna dive into our topic tonight. So, we alluded at the very beginning, maybe you came from the Gen X generation, and you were very privy to Columbia House and the good old CDs for 10 CDs for a penny type deal. You knew about all those stupid, ridiculous memberships that you'd sign yourself up for. God knows how many times I ended up getting sent to collections as a 20-something because I tried to get so many CDs and never worked out. I ended up maxing out my credit card.
You didn't get the cassettes.
I got the CDs. BMG and Columbia House.
Yep, those two guys.
I don't understand. You guys are older than me, but when the first 10 for a penny order that I did was cassettes.
Oh no, dude, we were at that point when I was doing that was CDs because I had already done mixtapes. Like my mixtapes were like I had to freaking sit on the radio and wait for them to play the one song that I wanted to record the tape because I didn't want to buy the tape, at Sam Goody's or Rocket Record or Target Tower Records or whatever it was, and that always pissed me off. Like they would always launch like an album and the one song you wanted on it was never on it. It was on a separate single, and the single didn't come out until 4 or 5 months later after the full album went out, and nothing on the album was great. It was garbage.
Right, but you would tape 8 hours of live radio just to find that one song.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And you'd have the two tapes, and so you'd play it on A and record it on B.
Yep. Yeah.
And I would always hate when the DJ, like the song would start, and then he'd make some stupid comment. I'm like, dumbass.
You're like,
to wait
bastard.
For it again. But I used to do the two tapes, like play my buddy would have like the album, I'd put his in and then record on the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. We tapes were abusive in my vehicles. Anytime like the girls would have their stupid like teeny bopper tapes, it would be always you cut the ribbon on the inside and then you wind it around one wheel so they can't ever play it again. Well, that's if you want to rewind it by hand, but I'm talking about like actually cutting the actual tape ribbon there, or you're burning the bottom of the CD so they can never read the bottom of the disc. But all the good old days. You don't get that with streaming these days. But sorry to segue there, my friends, but hopefully you didn't mind that little journey in the past. But we're going to talk about memberships tonight, and we all kind of have our take on them and our view on them. I wanted to kind of share and talk a little bit about them primarily, and I'm talking about all of our ham type memberships that we have. Whether you're a member of the ARRL and you're just a general member, or maybe you're a diamond member, and I'm curious to see why you'd want to be a diamond member, and or maybe you're part of CW Ops or any of the big CW clubs, and I can't remember the other one that's a big one, and I'm sure people are yelling.
Long Island CW.
Long Island, yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of. Or you're a member of your own club, and so I wanted to talk. What do you guys have for subscriptions in that sense? Do you like them? Like, do you buy into them? I mean, obviously some of them are a must. Are they valuable to you? Like in this day and age, like do you feel like you're getting stuff out of it? And so I just kind of wanted to open that up and see what your thoughts are on a little bit, because I think it's a topic that tends to not have a whole lot of light shed on it, but more so the stuff I've heard has been like, oh, this is just information. I want to get into the nitty gritty. Like, do you hate do you have an ARRL membership? Do you hate being an ARRL member? Let's get into the brass taxes. So, who wants to pick it up first and, talk? What do you guys have for memberships first and foremost?
Okay. All right. So memberships that I have, I am a bronze Legacy Life member of the VFW.
Okay.
I've been doing 3 years at a time with the ARRL. I've been doing 3 years at a time with the local club. Let me see, what other memberships? Oh, I'm a life member of the BASS, the Bass Anglers Sportsman Society. Notice a trend there with the life membership.
Yeah.
How come you don't have a life membership with the ARRL?
We'll get into that one.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But so I used to have a lot of memberships. I used to be a member of the National Area Radio Society and the K1 IRS out of Derry.
Repeater system, and,
yeah. And there was another ham radio club that I had a membership for a few years. But after a while, it just got to the point where it was like, I'm not benefiting at all from these memberships, and so I got rid of them. And so the memberships that I maintain are memberships that I hold value in, that I personally hold value in, and that I think is the key, because a membership is only as good as you hold value in it. And so I'll let Todd list his memberships before I go on a tirade about
ARRL
memberships that I don't like.
Go ahead, Todd. So what do you have for subscriptions?
Well, obviously, I just looked and my ARRL membership expired. I think it was March. No wonder I'm not
March of last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have that on my. It was funny we're doing this podcast because I had put on last week. I said I have to do. I got to go through my memberships and see which ones are due and which, because they're all due. It'd be so much easier if I could just do it at the same time. But so I have been a member, and I've just I probably. My wife probably threw out the reminder in the mail, and I get 3,000 emails a day, and I probably just missed it. So whatever. But I'll be joining them again. And the reason I joined them is because it's part of ham radio, and they're the backbone and the people that are fighting for with the law. What do you call it? The government. So I do get frustrated with memberships when it gets more political, but I do think that, having a membership that supports your hobby is important, and that's why I support them. So I'm like you, Paul. Like, if they don't do anything for me, I mean, the membership's nice. I don't use it to its full ability, but I look at it as a donation to support my hobby.
Okay,
the other
so
membership.
So you got a membership to ARRL, and like, what other memberships do you have like that aren't like that, like large organization stuff?
Well, so I memberships to my clubs. So I got, obviously our club, and I have one to the Southern New Hampshire Flying Eagles. And I do that every year. And again, that's just because I do the.
You use them,
Yeah, I use them. I go to the clubs. It's like, your dues, and, you should pay. So, that. And then the flying stuff has the AMA, the Academy of Model Aeronautics. And that's kind of like the ARRL of model airplanes. So I joined them, and I thought I owed them money because it's like at the beginning of the year, and all of a sudden I was about to pay them and go online, and I got in the mail, my membership is good through 2025. So I probably paid for multiple years and just didn't look at it. But again, it's a membership that I look at as I don't really use it. I mean, it's not like I'm on there every day looking up stuff and reading stuff, but I do, when there are laws that are coming on, they do fight pretty well. And they keep things going.
So they're a larger body for your
interest. It's kind of like they're the our club is an AMA certified club, so we have insurance. They provide insurance for us. They provide insurance for me. So being a member, like if I crash into someone and hurt someone, they cover if there's any lawsuit or anything. So it's a good membership, and then. other memberships that I have, which I have way too many of them, is like they're more like subscriptions to all the TV and internet crap.
Yeah,
like Amazon Prime, and, those are the ones that kill you. But those are the two ones that I use. And again, if I find something that I would use or I'm a strong believer in, then I look at it as like I don't mind doing it. When I first became a ham, I joined like every ham radio club I could possibly find. Some of them were just free. Hey, join us for free. But our club, the GSARA, was the only one that I actually connected with. I was part of the Nashua, I think it's the Radio Society. What? NARS.
NARS.
So I was at, and I mean, they weren't as like, they seemed more like an ARRL. Their website is phenomenal. It has tons of resources. And as a technician, I was like, wow, this is great. But I just kind of felt like I was just a number and, I just didn't feel like I could get connected with them. So, I mean, it was that. But then I joined, like I used to do the Interstate Repeater Society. I was on that repeater all the time. So I felt like, well, I'm using a repeater. I should support the repeater. So I joined that for a couple of years, and I don't really use that repeater that often. Now I'm really on ours, and I'm on the Fort Mountain repeater, but I don't think there's like a club for them. I think it's just a repeater. But if there was one, I would join that because I use, their stuff. So that's basically.
So it sounds like a lot of the subscriptions, for at least you're like a kind of pay to play subscription. So like if you're playing in their sandbox, you feel like you need to obviously contribute to their system. But if you're, you fall away or you go in a different route, you're pretty much like, well, I'll just let it lapse and move on to something different.
Well, it like for example, like I can't, if I don't pay for the club, I can't fly at the field. Right. And if I don't have AMA, I can't fly at the field. So I have to have those to participate. But the AMA, it provides me with insurance and stuff. The club is the money helps and we improve things. And it's more of a, it's a lot more money than we pay for our club. To fly, to be in the thing. But for me, it's like, this is what you do, and this helps make things better. So when I do go down to the field and I see the guys, it's a better place. It's not just a field with, cut grass. We've got shelters, we've got storage, we got lawnmowers. I mean, there's a lot to it. And so, I don't mind paying for it and joining it, and keeps me going. But besides that, I mean, I'm not a union guy, so I hope I don't offend anyone, but the union that the state has in New Hampshire sucks ass. And if any of you are members of the union, you come debate me on it. I'll tell you why you suck ass. But I was a union member for a long time, and they did nothing that affected me in a positive way. If not, they did things that hurt you. So there was a law that was passed, like I think it was called the Right to Work, and I basically, you don't have to be a union member anymore. I'm like, sweet. So I signed off on it, and I'm not doing it. And they like literally harassed me. They were coming up to me at work. The guy was at the dump, was trying to convince me. They were calling me, texting me, emailing me. I mean, it was harassment. And to this day, I won't do it. And they say, but we negotiate for your benefits. I said, you negotiate shitty contracts. There hasn't been one I voted for because it sucks. And I said, so he goes, but you don't get to vote. I said, I don't care. You pass them anyway. I go, it's a big scam. So I got out of it. And to this day, they come and try to drag me in. And I just tell them, so what positive thing did you do for us this year? And it's not, I mean, we would get 1%. They would praise on a 1% pay increase. 1%. I'm like, the cost of living was 3%.
Well, okay, so let's kick Todd off his soapbox right now.
I'm sorry, but yeah, so I got rid of that membership because it didn't help me, and that was a membership, but it sucked, and I got rid of it, and I won't go back. I'm done. So
okay, so it sounds like it's the common theme, at least between you guys, is that the value of what you get out of the club or the group that you're a part of may or may not dictate whether you're going to be back next year based off of like what value, does the value equate to what you get, as what you put into it, meaning your fees. So I guess for me, really quickly, before we kind of dive into a few things, because I got a lot of questions, is I kind of, if I keep it just general, like, club memberships and ham radio stuff, I, for a while, used to be a lot like you guys, where I would, like, if I was using the pay to play model, so if I was using a repeater, I would be a club member. For me, that kind of wore really fast, because I felt I understand that I was giving to maybe an organization to be able to help, in support of their repeaters, their systems, their club, blah, 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 what organization as a whole. But like at the same time, I was never really using anything except their repeater. Now, I took the attitude of like, so if you look at a club that has a repeater only, and again, this is just my opinion, so it doesn't apply to anybody else except myself, is that if I'm using a club repeater, whether I'm using like weekly or I'm using it for a period of time, or I check in every once in a while, I check in a net, for me, it's like the repeater was there. The frequencies that were assigned to those repeaters were never theirs anyway. So it was just part of the original, kind of allotment to them that was given to them free because they never paid for it. Yes, they have equipment resources and costs and stuff like that with all of that process. But if the club was only focused, and from my opinion, focused on just a repeater solely, I feel like it's not enough for me to be able to say I need to give them money. Like, because it's sort of like if I was like a ham radio, like being a ham radio operator, I'm like a POTA guy, and every contact that I make with somebody, like I would charge them a fee because they want to talk to me. That's kind of how I look at it. It's like, that doesn't work for me, because in essence, the airways are free. So that's kind of my change in thought around that. So I don't give my money to a lot of clubs unless I'm involved in them in some form or fashion, and that's more for like a lot, like I think we touched upon, is the connection with people. And so if I'm connecting with them and, it's reciprocated and, building relationships, then I don't care whether the club fees are $100 or $15 every year. It's the value, that I put into it, because it secures my spot in the, that whole, environment. So that kind of gets really difficult to deal with, at least for me, when you look at the large organizations like ARRL or Long Island CW Club or any of like those kind of avenues where people like throw money at that because they feel like they're giving something to help. And they are. I mean, those resources and those places and those groups, do a lot for the hobby. But like when I look at ARRL, it's a toss up for me a lot. And so, yeah, I pay my ARRL dues because I want to just kind of have my ear to the rail to hear what the hell's going on. And maybe they might be doing something for me. Maybe they might not. I don't know, but the money is not hurting my wallet right now to the point that I can say, yeah, I can't, giving them the $49 or whatever it is forever, how many years I pay in advance, is, but like at the same time, I'm also not like the life members either. Like, I don't understand how someone can lay down $1,000 plus to ARRL and say to them, I want to be a diamond member, but all I get is a little plaque on my, the wall that says I'm forever, ingrained in that, and it's just kind of like, it's just my old school, mentality of thinking like, screw, damn the man, save the empire kind of thing. And so, yeah, subscriptions for me, and I think it's the same thought that you guys have, is that, if there's value in it and you're getting value back out of it, then, you're going to put, your money, on the table and, help support them, because that in essence helps just further along the process. And so,
don't you need an ARRL membership to be in Logbook of the World? No,
it's free.
Oh, it's free.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm a paid member of QRZ.
Sure.
Only because I like QRZ and I send everything to QRZ.
But you can be a free member of QRZ and still send your stuff to QRZ. You just can't use any of their advanced features to work with your logging and that type of stuff.
Well, right. Well, that's what I do, and I use QRZ a lot. Like ham study, right? Like I use them, and I paid for the app, whenever I bought it or whatever. But
sure.
If that was like a monthly subscription and I was studying for my time, I would pay for that because it's something I use.
But that's not an organization though. So like a software for me is just like I'll pay stuff for software, right? Like
is QRZ an organization?
No, it's just it's a website and a service. That's all it is. It's like LOTW.
Yeah, but you're a member of QRZ.
You're an online member. Like, I don't think I get any more value when I'm logged into QRZ, especially with the dumpster fire of their, message boards, but we won't go into that. I don't think QRZ provides me any more than my regular logbook, except for the fact that it allows me to connect my logbook to them to be able to synchronize contacts and further along my awards, kind of journey. But I don't consider myself a QRZ. Like, I don't wear the badge proudly on any of my websites whatsoever that says I'm a QRZ member. I don't know about you, but
no, I don't have any badges.
Yeah, and so I don't look at it as a club. So
yeah, I mean, like things like our club, like if there was this club has meant a lot to me. I met you guys and basically everything I know in ham radio is because of the club. Like if there was a thing and said, hey, we're short money, we're offering lifetime memberships, whether or not I'm going to be here or not, I would probably buy a lifetime membership to our club, only because I'm passionate about it and I think the club offers a lot, and I've had a lot of great experiences and met some great people and made a lot of good friends. So to me, that's something that I wouldn't even hesitate to do it. Same thing with the flying club. Those guys have been, my friends for, I don't even know how, I'm probably pushing 15 years now. But, that was another one. Like if they said, hey, we're short money and we need to put money down, we need lifetime members because we have to raise this money, I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd be like, all right, I'll be a lifetime member. And we've got guys in that club that moved away and they still pay their membership. Mm-hmm. Like they don't even come anymore. They live out, other parts of the country. So I think it's like if you're really passionate about a club and a club's done some good stuff for you, or a membership, staying with them. I mean, I am going to be a membership to my flying club and our ham radio club for my life. Like if I move away, I'm still buying a membership just to support them because of what they offered me.
So what say you, Paul?
Well, so that's where the having life memberships, I think, is one of those things where it's like it's finding that balance between the money that you're putting up and what you're getting back. So like, for example, right, I'm a life member of the BASS. Now I'm an avid angler. I love bass fishing and I love getting their magazines every month. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, well, I could pay X amount per year, or I could pay one lump sum, and it was a relatively reasonable rate. And I don't ever have to worry about it again. And so for that, like, I love the magazine. I love not having to worry about renewing my membership. Lifetime membership just made sense. For the VFW, when I first got active in the VFW, I was a yearly member. Then I upgraded to life. There's additional added benefits to the higher legacy life levels. I stopped at bronze. It's $400 per additional level. There's 3 more, so it's another $1,200 on top of the life membership fee. So it's a lot of money. And while I absolutely love the VFW as an organization, there's just a lot of bad actors doing bad things and ruining the organization. And so I've since stepped away. And I still don't regret becoming a life member, because I know that, when it comes to legislation and things like that, they're in DC and they're advocating on my behalf as a vet. Mm-hmm. So for that, I appreciate it. Now you move over to the ARRL, and let me just tell you, I'm so unbelievably frustrated at the cost of the annual memberships of the ARRL versus what you get from it. Okay. And 100%.
Elaborate a little bit on that. So, like, what's the current state? So, just folks know that may not be an ARRL member.
So, in years gone by, if you were an ARRL member, you would get either the QST or the QRP or whatever. There's 3 different magazines you could choose from, and you get those magazines every month delivered to your mailbox, and it's fantastic. And they, they advocate on our behalf to the FCC for the band allocations and things like that. Just recently, last fall, we had an issue where what was it? NextSat wanted the 900 megahertz, right? They wanted to take the 900 megahertz band, and they wanted to do things with it. And the things that they wanted to do are great. However, it takes that away from us.
Or like even the gigahertz bands, like I don't play in the 5 gigahertz space, and there's a very small audience that do that, but they advocate for that.
100%. Yeah. And so those things I appreciate, and I can say, yes, okay, it is justified. However, when they went and they said, yeah, guess what? Now, if you want the magazine, you got to pay extra.
Yeah, you got to pay like $84 for it.
Yeah, fuck you. If I'm paying for my membership, that magazine is included in my membership, and send me the goddamn magazine because I fucking paid for it. Don't tell me that it's digital, and digital is just as good.
I get the comfort level that you like to receive in your little hot hands every month, like the nice little magazine and smell the disgusting paper print that they printed on and open it up. But so let me ask, in terms of that value, when you get that magazine in your hand, how long do you hold on to it, and then where does it go after you're done?
So I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that I will save good magazine articles. I may not save the whole magazine, but I'll take the articles, and I have a manila envelope that's got all the great freaking articles in it that I've found in my magazines. Good magazines, like where the whole magazine cover to cover is fantastic, and I want to keep the whole magazine, I will keep the whole magazine. I will keep the whole magazine for 10 plus years.
So let me ask this question. So in the digital age, like you've got the online version that you can pull the app down, and I do this myself because I was sort of like how you, when I got back into the hobby, I got my ARRL membership, and I was like, ooh, I get to be as a kid again and remember the QST. But once I started getting them, I had a pile over in the corner that was just getting bigger and bigger, and I felt like I'm never, if I go so with me, and you guys might be different, but even if it's a great article, if I go and I'm like, hey, I want to remember where I saw that antenna build, I'm not going back to that magazine or book. I'm going to go to the internet, and I'm going to surf the internet to find the latest article, because we know that, antenna designs change, people come up with new updates. And so I'm always going to want to get the latest stuff or go down a rabbit hole trying to find the latest stuff. So I just basically was like, okay, I don't get the QST anymore. I didn't want the paper version. I know people like the idea. And I just kind of said, you know what? I don't read it enough. My wife looks at it and goes, why do you still read this? Who gets magazines any longer? And I'm like, I don't either. And so I stopped, but I've got the online app version, and I love the online app version because, one, it's got awesome search capability. So I can find anything across any one of the magazines that's available. I get February's magazine. Have you gotten February's magazine yet?
Couldn't tell you, because you know what? It didn't show up in my mailbox.
Okay, so I already got February's magazine. So I've already read the articles that have Mike's N2MAK's article in there. He was featured in there by a few, Jeremy, KL67EC. He's got a little write-up in there too. So I got to read all that. Yeah, KL7, sorry, yeah. And so I got to read all those cool write-ups and, share them on social and stuff like that. And it was really cool. But at the same time, I didn't worry about because, I go to bed and I read my ARRL magazine. I can't turn on a light and annoy my wife to read a physical paper form, but I have it on the phone. I can read it on my tablet. It makes it wicked easy because it's already on my phone anyway. So that's my, I guess, challenge to you. So you might want to look into it. It might suffice some of your problems, but I know you like the the tangibleness of holding the paper and sniffing the glue that they assembled the binder with. And
well, let me put it to you like this, okay? We as a society, we spend countless hours staring at screens.
Sure.
right?
Yep.
So if I'm gonna read a magazine article and I'm gonna enjoy it, I don't want to stare at a freaking screen.
Okay.
I want to look at paper. It's no different than like I have books. I have real books.
Oh, you do too.
And the books that I've read and I don't need to go back on them, I donate them because somebody else could read that book. But there is something to be said for reading off of physical paper. And the way that your eyes are, the way that your brain receives the information, it's different. And so I don't know. I like having something physical in my hands. It's like, hey, for your money, this is what you get.
Okay.
You get our advocating on your behalf, and you get this little magazine in your hands every month.
All right. So question, Todd, how are you on that feeling of the magazines, the physical paper? You like it or no? Care?
Well, I've got a whole bunch of them.
Are they propping up a door?
They're basically like taking up space.
Yeah.
I liked reading them when I got them because I could, throw them down if I'm having a cup of coffee, read it. I don't have to be on my phone or whatever.
Okay.
But when they changed, I just get the digital copy, and I would look at it. But it's funny because I used to get like I used to get like an email that I haven't had it since March, and I got to get back into it because I honestly still thought I was a member. But I did look at the digital copies, and like I said, it's I would rather. I mean, the AMA has the same thing. They went through. They have a magazine, and it went digital, and I don't mind reading stuff on my iPad or whatever. But yeah, it clears. It brings less mail. I get so much junk mail and so much crap. It just fills up. And if I don't go through it, I'll look I'll get like even the ham radio outlet. I love getting them because I can go through and look at them, and then I put them somewhere. And I go into my drawer. I'm like, this is like 3 years old. Like, what the hell do I still have this?
Mine sits on the back of the toilet, and I just sit. So.
Right. So I mean, but and I like I said, I do think. I mean, they had that big price increase, and I don't think they did it the right way, and I don't think it went over too well. I think a lot of it had to do with piss poor management of the organization. Sure. And, but for what you get for it and what I use it for, it's like, again, I look at them as like they fight for the bands, they fight for us to continue to do this hobby. I think if you don't have an organization like them, people are just going to take it from us. So I'm more of I look at it more as like, not so much as my membership to them, but more of my yearly donation to have them be able to survive. But I don't like when organizations waste money on stupid things that they should be putting their money into a better use. But look, as a member, I guess I get a vote if they vote for something, because they did have surveys out about raising the prices and stuff. And I told them what I thought. Sure. And I'm not stingy. And, I still don't think, I think $60 is, for the year is not that out of control. But reading the stuff that was going on at the time, I mean, you'd think they're trying to take your house away from you. I was like, holy crap, it's just $60. Like, I mean, it's not that much. I mean, you could do a lot, well, not so much in this day and age, but like $60 is, you could do some stuff with it. Cover me
for to press 3 times. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Right, exactly. You go to Prest a couple times, but I mean,
I could buy half the stuff in my Amazon cart with $60.
Right.
True. I could go to TeamU and buy all of TeamU with $60. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I just think that and then when you have an organization like ARRL, and then things don't go right, like especially like with QRZ, like when they kept crashing. Was it them crashing or ARRL? Someone was crashing.
It was the
ARRL was down for months.
Yeah, right. And to me, that's unacceptable. And really, it's kind of like, I don't think you should be. I think if they were down that long. And what they should have done is they should have gone to the members and said, listen, we apologize. We had problems. We're extending your, because you didn't have access to what we were offering for the, say, 3 months. We're extending your membership for 3 months.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah,
exactly. But that would have been a good offering, which would have made me say, okay, well, now I feel comfortable signing up again, and renewing. But they just don't. So they basically stole money from all its members because the members didn't have access to what they paid for.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. That's legit. Yeah, I agree with that.
I will not be renewing this year.
I still, and so here's kind of my take on this. And so, have either of you guys made the Mecca journey yet to HQ?
No.
Okay, so you haven't been to HQ yet. Now, I was in same boat because, again, it's that value proposition of what the hell am I getting out of my $50, $60 a year. And so I did, and I'm sorry, Todd, I'm going to promote. I did a video on going to the ARRL, and I thought it was fun because, like Marvin, I went with Marvin, W0MAT, when he was working for the Learning Center, and he gave me like the full walkthrough. Now, mind you, when I got to certain parts of the building and they had a lab, like they had what they called the employees HF lounge, and it was like cutting edge everything. They had flexes in there. They had, all of the tools and gadgets and amplifiers and towers all in that room. Like when I got to the room, the first feeling I had was like anger, because I'm like, my money's being used so they can have a lounge to do HF, and I can't use this. And then I was like, grilling them on all the questions, because I'm like, this is our new state of the art. We built this and we brought a vendor in to, bring in this hardware, and Flex donated and ICOM donated. And I'm like, yeah, you're pissy. Exactly. Right. And so I literally, for those that are on the podcast, Paul's making a hand gesture that we won't, elaborate on, but you can watch the video to get more definition in 4K. But, as I continued on the tour, we finally got to the Percy Maxim Museum, and I was like blown away because they explained it, and the guy who walked me through the whole process. And again, you can go to my channel, check out the video. But you can go there and you can operate all of their towers and their setups, and their stations are like, they're not top of the notch hardware, but like they're Yaesu FT 101 Ds running 200 running a kilowatt with a bunch of beams at different elevations, and it was a great experience. So at least I got a chance to operate as W1AW, even though I didn't make a whole lot of contacts that day because the bands were shit. But I that kind of we'll say moved me from the negative side of the, I'm ready to burn the building down, to, okay, well, maybe they are a little bit better because I have this resource that was never communicated to anybody that I was aware of, that you could go down and do this. And so when I went, through that, I was like, oh, well, this is something somebody should, be aware of, that has them, especially if you live in the New England area. If you haven't gone down there, you should go down there and just check it out. It's a interesting, kind of, setup, and I get what they do and why they do the testing. And so they do a lot of interesting things that we don't ever hear about or talk about. So one of the things that I learned when I was down there is that they do RF testing. So like a lot of those, radios, antennas, all of the manufacturers that we see out there, they have full labs that they have set up that does the RF testing, does spurious emission testing, does all of those things. And they take, anytime they do a review in the magazine, they've already gone through their whole entire lab structure and tore that radio from, beginning to end through its paces, made sure it was, under the type acceptance, it, said what it was supposed to have, and so they're starting to do more of those like Chinese radios and get in more of the garbage that, has been seeping through for a while. That's gotten better for sure, but I'm sure it has been at the same time, they've done some really, good things, but, does that outweigh what I'm paying as well as what I really think they should do? Probably not. In essence, I think they're very fat as an organization. I think they need to be a lot more leaner. And I think they need to be in a place that they can offer really good benefits for the hobby as a whole, because they're a larger organization that already plugs into government entities and should be our voice, and also an education machine. But the one thing that pisses me off the most about them is why do they hold so damn tight to all of their properties when it comes to books and printing? That just drives me bonkers, because like ARRL, they put out their whole antenna book. Great resource, but freaking put it on, like put it in a digital version, because the books, I don't need a shelf on the wall that could hold 300 pounds worth of antenna books, you know, that are going to sit there that I maybe reference a couple of times, you know, and it's like they aren't open enough, I don't think, in that sense.
Well, you know, it's like they raised the price. Like this year, I think you get like a mug if you're a new member. Right? Like a mug. Like, seriously. You got yours? Right. Right? Like, okay. Thanks for the mug.
With this original cartoon from one of the authors, I looked at it. I looked at the print. I don't think you can see this on the video. It looks so crappy. But then Bill W1WR told me about it. It was like an original cartoonist, you know, in ARRLs that had, you know, as a silent key. But I'm looking at it going like, this is a stupid cartoon. Like, they sent me a dumb cup. Like, this is just garbage. So, like, what am I getting out of it? Nothing.
Well, right. I mean, you know, what would be like beneficial is like if they gave out like a book, like you said, the antenna book, or at least gave it to you in digital format.
Yeah.
That would be something like, okay, like I'm going to pay my $60 and they're going to send me a digital copy of an antenna book, handbook. And then the next year they're going to send you a digital copy of operating. Yeah. Or
that's a good point.
What the hell you know how many coffee mugs I have? Like, give me a break, dude. Like, don't waste your money on the postage.
And you know, didn't you operate W1AW from home like I did?
Me?
Well, I operated the call from home, not the actual station. Different.
Why did you call? Why did you do it from home? Are you allowed to do it from home?
When W1AW did that whole like area call
on the air.
Volunteers on the air. Yeah. See, like, this is not a live free and ham glass. That's a well-crafted, you know, dram. Like, you know, Paul can put up our live free and ham glass, and, you know, I guarantee, like, I would buy 25 of those before I'd buy one of these cups from ARRL.
Right,
I mean,
right. It looks like you got it at the dollar store.
Yeah, exactly. And they're printed on it from,
and
like,
then someone
Etsy.
took like an ink stamp.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, good quality products. So,
I mean, and I've bought stuff, you know, that I've needed, like from you know, ARRL. I've bought like winter or field day stuff, and you know, the stuff's not cheap. And I get it. I look at it as, okay, we're supporting the thing, but then I also think, you know, I haven't been down there, but you're telling me that they've got state of the art flexes and stuff in a room only for the employees. Like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I go down there, I'm walking in that room and saying, dude, I'm a member and I paid for this. I'm using that flex. I'm not using this old freaking beat up radio that you've had out here for 30 years. Like, why would they do that? Why would they make that available to all members?
Well, you know, now the Percy Maxim Museum has 3 stations that they all set up. All of them have different radios in them. So the one I was operating was a 101D, but I think they had a flex in another, you know, one of the 3 stations. So there was the availability for many radios, but most of it was ICOM or Yaesu because they want to, you know, keep their name in lights.
And I'm not saying, like, I wouldn't want that, but I don't think they should be taking the members' money and putting in it for quote unquote the employees only. Agree. Because I work for someplace and I don't get special benefits and better. They're not giving me a new flex radio to shove in my desk so I can play on my breaks.
The thing with these organizations, right, is we have to understand that they want us to contribute to the organization, but we have no say in the operation of that organization.
Sure.
And that's where groups like, dude, look at Wounded Warrior Project. Okay, now we're going back a few years, but they were in serious hot water because they were taking in all this money that was supposed to go to vets, and instead, all of their admin had 6-figure salaries, and everybody was getting rich, but the veterans themselves were still suffering. And so here we are, we're giving to this organization that's supposed to be fighting on our behalf, and they've got a station in Connecticut filled with flex radios and fucking towers and antennas and all this crazy expensive shit. And
sure.
For what fucking purpose? Like, what is my money going to that is really giving a benefit to me?
Does the ARRL do they do things to help clubs? Do they have
they have small, like, Nothing directly. So again, this is one of the things that I don't have a full understanding of the breadth and depth of what they do offer, because I only hear a little bit here and there. And so that, I think this is one of all our arguments is like, what does the ARRL bring to the table?
I think we need to get the ARRL president on the
Dude, we can barely get them to give us a comment on our VE
I'll behave myself, but I want to ask them because I'm like, if I'm passionate about something, I will ask the questions everyone's afraid to ask. Like, I'll ask them straight up. Like, how much did you spend on your employer lounge? How come that wasn't in the front page of your magazine? Like, I want to know that. And how come you don't spend money to help clubs improve their clubs that can promote ham radio and get more members in there? Like the AMA, which I know I go back because it's my only other hobby that I have, but they actually every year you apply and you can do things to improve your field. Mm-hmm. And you put in a request and you tell them what you're going to do and you show them a budget and you do all that stuff. And our club has never been denied the money. So in the case
of
not
that
all
sense,
the money, but we put in our runway and they said, this is what we want to do. This is how much we're going to get paid. And you have to buy it all first. And then it was almost like a grant. And then they said, here's a check. So, good job. Yes. And then they put it in their magazine and say, oh, the Southern New Hampshire Flying Eagles put in a runway, blah, blah, blah.
So yes, there is we'll say an arm for the grant side of things. So as a club, there is some stipulations, and I don't know whether it's clear or not. Like, do you have to be a 501 or 501(c) organization that
C3.
takes exactly to take donations in to be able to apply for those, but they do have grants that they've been able to give $50,000-$100,000. There's actually a club in Barnstable, Mass, that my dad's a part of, the Barnstable Bark Club, and they got a grant from ARRL, which also was in conjunction with the ARDC, to outfit one of the scout camp buildings with a full HF station, tower, power, backup battery power, with the idea that the scouts could use it during summertime and scout camp activities, but they as a club could use it as their main location and kind of club radio facility. So there is stuff out there like that, and ARRL does offer that, and you can put in for those requests. I mean, I know as a club, we kind of have that on as our item list to talk about and maybe look into, because, I know, Todd, you've had a dream to have an RF or HF kind of, club trailer. So,
I want a trailer and a clubhouse.
Yeah,
seriously. I want to have a clubhouse on a big mountain somewhere that's close by that I can. I'm serious. You laugh, but wouldn't it be a cool place just to go? Our club has. We hang out at Mike's barn.
Well, we have Ralph's house. He's on 1300 ASL, so we can all have the club over Ralph's house.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be awesome if Ralph was like, "Well, you know what? I got all this land up here. Let's build a GSARA clubhouse with a shack in it and a place to hang out." Like,
stick a firing range in behind it.
Yeah, we'll hang out with Ralph for the rest of it. But
Ralph, can you section off your 8 acres or 18 acres?
But to me, it's, and I'm not that involved with the ARRL. I never really thought too much about it, but when you get those big organizations, they do get, I don't know if the word's greedy, but they do get loose with the money, because it's not their money, it's our money. And I think it's like the government, like you give the government, next thing you know, they're dishing out billions of dollars for this, and it has nothing to do that I wouldn't pay a dime for, but we end up paying for it. I think these organizations do, and you're not going to agree with everything they do, but I also think that they should be more upfront and honest. And I don't know, does the ARRL have a board of directors?
Yeah, we all hate them, but yeah. They are.
But are they a club of board of directors that protect themselves and keep them in the board of directors thing? Like, are there term limits?
No, not that. Well, again, this is
right, which is like,
I hear
like for me,
no.
If you want to have a good, if you want to have a good organization, they should put every club member in a hat and freaking pull out the name and say, "This is the board of directors for the next year."
Oh, let's get Fred on here.
Well, seriously, I mean, I'm serious because again, it comes down. It's all politics, right? And then
you all politics, yes,
right. And politics is the root of all evil. So if you're gonna have a good club like the ARRL, even the AMA, I would take every member, put them in a hat, and pull up freaking one from each section and say you're on the board. Period. That's it. That you're the board member for the year. You can decline it. We'll pick someone else out. But if you want to volunteer your time and do it, but you get one person, you get a whole group of people. I know how it works. They all protect each other. Oh, we're going to do this and we'll force this and we have the power to do that. And then we're the members. And the only way the members stop is if they stop joining. And like I was watching that whole when they're going to raise the prices about they were what really made me is like they were okay with losing members. Like as a person who would want to never lose a member, like I don't want to lose a member of our club because I think the members are beneficial to the club, and it's like, and I want them to stay because we've got a good club. They were okay with losing a certain percentage of members because they raised the dues so much. And I was frustrated with that because it tells me that it's not so much about the members, it's more about their pocketbook and what they can do with that money. Mm-hmm. And that to me is just wrong. And that really, it put me in a bad taste in my mouth because again, they had the speaker, they had the news things, they had the articles, but they were okay with losing members. And that's not what an organization should be trying to do, especially when you have thousands and thousands of members who are contributing, to the cause.
You sounded like Dirty Harry just then.
Don't get me going. I can't stand the politics of it because it's corrupt and everything politics gets corrupt.
So let's try to kind of put some, as I'm waving my hand and my camera's freaking out. Let's kind of, put some closure to this a little bit because I think we could have a whole entire episode of how we want to pitchforks and torches ARRL. I guess the bottom line is, in all of your memberships, and we've obviously kind of outlined a little bit and touched upon the fact that, the benefit and the value proposition of every one of your memberships has an expiration in some sense. So, whether it's lifetime or it's one of those things that, it's a period of time, you definitely have, some measuring stick in place for how and whether you keep things around. So from a standpoint of ARRL, and we'll just talk only ARRL, and Paul, you already said that you weren't renewing this year, do you find that there is going to, is there value per se in ever wanting to go back and renewing with them at all? So not today, but in the future, if there was everything was turned on its ear or things would there be a turning point for you to say, hey, I'm ready to put back, money into the organization to help support whatever it was doing?
I think if they were a little bit more transparent about what every individual member is getting as a benefit of their membership, they might be able to convince me to come back and be a member. I think that what they need to do is they need to scale back. They need to balance their budget better, and they need to handle their money better so that they can have lower dues because they have the biggest freaking pool of people to pick from as members, people that want to be members. And so if you've got a large group of people, you can charge less money and still balance your budget out the same. And then I feel like if that was to happen, more people would join because they would see a benefit of their membership. You take, for example, you mentioned the Long Island CW Club, right? And so when I first got licensed, I paid the yearly membership fee for the Long Island CW Club for the first 2 years. And then I was like, you know what? I just don't have the time and the resources in me. I'm also learning Scottish Gaelic. One extra language was all I could take at the time. Now I'm getting back into CW, and I've been away from the Long Island CW Club for well over a year. But as soon as I was gone for a year, they sent me an email and they said, "Hey, look, we understand that like these things happen and you're gonna go away and you're gonna go away for a little while, but we want you to eventually come back. So if you'll pay, I think it was $60 at the time. I think it's $90 currently. It will make you a life member, and then when you're ready to come back, we're here and we're ready for you. And I think that was fantastic. I had no problem 2 years ago paying the life membership fee and forgetting about it. And now this year I said, well, CW is one of the things that I want to learn. And so I'm getting back into it, and I'm going to utilize their services because I've paid for it. I'm a life member, and you know, I have that ability. It's all about being good to the people that support your organization, because if you're good to the people that are supporting you, then they're going to continue to support you. And so while I might not have to ever pay them again, I'm more than happy now to donate because I'm getting a benefit from it. Does that make sense?
I mean,
yeah.
You know, going back, not that I'm going to go off on the union again, but it's the same thing. When that law passed, they were freaking out because so many people were so unhappy with them that they didn't want to be in the union. So there was a lot of us that just were like, you had to wait till the month that you started into, you had 30 days to write a letter and get out of it. And I had told one of the rep guys, I said, you know, if you were such a great organization, this law wouldn't matter because all of us would want to stay here because you provide such a good thing for us. And you provide nothing, in my opinion, that helps me. And you think you do, but I'm telling you things that you don't do. And it's kind of like, that's what really bugged me with when the ARRL and they were discussing and showing the numbers, like this is how many people we can afford to lose. Like, to me, that was the thing that gave me that, because it's like, you shouldn't want to lose any of your members. You should be working and doing things to keep your members happy so that they want to be a part of it, that they become passionate about it and they want to support you.
So here's the thing. Thinking about this, because I was thinking like, okay, what other organizations across the world that are like ARRL, because ARRL is US based specific. And so the one thing came to my mind was RSGB. You know how much their annual, membership fee is? $94. So I know we've been talking money and we've been talking about the value to, cost proposition, but like $94 in European money is crazy to think that like they do the same similar stuff that ARRL is doing for us on our behalf or whatever that might look like. And they may be doing less, but they're paying way more.
All right, but think of it this way. You've got, what were the dues before they raised them?
It was like
$30 or something.
Yeah, it was like $30.
All right.
30, 35.
$30 and you got a magazine. Okay?
Yeah.
So if they really wanted to double the dues, pretty much is what they did, they could have at least kept
sending
the magazine.
a fucking magazine.
Exactly. Like they took everything away and doubled. So you don't get anything more and you doubled it. And I think like if you wanted to raise the dues, you could have done it over a period of time. Meaning, okay, you want to buy at $30, you can buy 5 years right now. But we're going to raise the dues. This year it's going to be $35. Next year it's going to be $40, $45, or you can just get 5 years 30, and now you're keeping everyone happy. They know it's going to be going up because of expenses. You're going to still get your magazine, whatever people wanted, and then you probably give people the options of either saying, I'll just pay the 30 or the $45 and take the rate each year, or for the next 5 years I'll pay at $30. Again, just an idea that maybe wouldn't have pissed so many people off, because there was a lot of people pissed off about it. And I was like, kind of like, like you said, it's like $60. It's like, all right, it is what it is. But it's not like a deal breaker to me. But there are people out there, especially a lot of hams, retired on a fixed income. Inflation's gone through the roof. Paul on a fixed income. Like, it makes a difference. If I'm retired and I have a set income and inflation shoots through the roof like it did, last year?
So, okay.
And now you're like, you don't have, $60 maybe to pay. But
So,
on the other hand, I see people at our club.
Here. I get where you're going. So let me throw some numbers here. So this is what looking at ARRL's website. RSGB, which is the equivalent to ARRL over in Europe, is $94. I don't know what they can look up what they offer for their benefits. But if we look at the dues rates as of January 1st, 2024, so they haven't changed and they probably won't. For ARRL right now, 1 year standard membership is $59. Still $40 less than, a little bit $30 less than give or take for what RSGB is offering.
Yeah, realistically, it's more like 30, right? Because the 90 something is probably more around 80 US.
Oh no, that's conversion. So it's 76 euros conversion to US. It's 94.
Okay.
So there we go. That's why I was like, yeah. So that's calculated right, based off of what I just did 2 seconds ago. Now, if you add even the $25 additional for your QST, so you're now at $784. You're still cheaper than what RSGB's paying, and they may or may not get a magazine. So is it like, I get it.
Yeah, but we're better than the Brits. We're better than the Brits, and so you know what, like. We just got to continue to be better.
Listeners,
all right.
Paul's reflection is nothing on Liffringham as a whole.
All right, but I mean, again, what would you think would happen if we went from our $15 and we said, oh, by the way, it's our club dues. Our club is now going up to $40. How many members you think we're going to lose?
We would have the same riot that we would with the current.
Exactly. So my thing was you give people, you don't like double the dues in a year. You just don't do that. You give people time to adjust and figure out how they're going to do it. You give them options. I don't know why they needed to double the dues. Again, $30, $60. I mean, it is what it is. I'm working. I can afford to throw $60 on that. But there are people, ham radio operators, that can't. And I don't think they were thinking of that. And the part that just, again, I'm going to reiterate, it was like they were okay with losing members. And if I was in charge of a club like the ARRL or an organization or the AMA or anything, if I was like the president or whatever, I would say that is an number one deal breaker. We need to figure out how to do this where we lose as little members, if any. I don't want any to go. I want to increase membership, but I don't want to lose them. And that was never even a topic. And they were willing to figure out how many people they could lose. And that bothered me.
Here's the other thing too, is like, so I get the strategy behind that, but like from my thought process with that, I would be like, well, okay, like you'd have to, and I don't know what it would even look like numbers wise. Like if they were to say lose a third of their overall, membership base, what I don't know, we'll say round numbers. There are 100,000 members, and so if they left a third of that, that's what 10 grand, 10,000 members or something like that. If I do the math right. I don't do math. 30,000. Okay, so yeah. So 30,000. Yeah. See, I don't do math. So 30,000 members. Is that like...
Yeah, that's 30,000 ham radio operators that now are no longer part of the organization that kind of oversees and protects the ham radio club. That to me is unacceptable.
But so here's the other, it's like similar to your just example there, Todd, where you're saying that you didn't pay in your union, but you were still getting the benefits for whatever they decided.
I don't get any benefits.
Their decision-making process basically
I would make, if the union didn't exist, I'd make more money now than I would being in part of the union.
So, but ARRL, so even being like Paul not being an ARRL member, he still gets the benefits of whatever the paying members are in that get to make the decision. So if ARRL is protecting, our gigahertz frequencies, Paul gets the residual benefit of that by, indirectly not being a member. So like, it's kind of like one of those things I look at. It's like, okay, well, if Paul goes away, it's sad that Paul goes away, but I definitely agree with you, Todd, though, that they should spend more time trying to figure out how they can get that person back, by doing the things that they might have. But it
was more the mentality, and that it wasn't even discussed. Like there wasn't a discuss on how are we going to keep members. It was like, how many members can we afford to lose?
Well, I think they did. They definitely did a lot of surveys, because I got like 3 or 4 of them, asking what my take was on it.
Well, yeah, and so did I. But I watched a lot of people, interviewing people and talking about it, and it was like they were basically, and the stuff that they sent out is like they were like, well, if we lose this many members, we'll be better off than if we didn't. And to me, the club isn't about the ARRL is not about making money. It's about ham radio, and the members is the gold, right? Like you don't want to lose gold. You don't want to lose your base, because that's what you got. And I mean, I don't know how many people actually didn't re-sign up, but I'm sure there were a bunch. And if they didn't sign up, are they going to get back? How are they going to reach out? Some, especially ham radio guys, older, right, set in their ways, you piss them off, you're never going to get them back, right?
You know what an interesting stat is with our club? Here, I'll give you a little tidbit. I was looking at the numbers just recently. You know what our split is in terms of who ARRL members versus non-ARRL members in our club?
Yeah, how many?
50-50.
Right.
Literally, we have 160 members. You do the math. 80 of them are ARRL members. Give or take, the other 80 aren't.
So just looking at, let's just say, hypothetically, I'm the president of ARRL and I get that stat, and I decide to come down and have a meeting with all the members, right? And I say, okay, 50% of you are members, and 50, why aren't you members, and what can we do better to get you to become members? What are we doing?
One of the members just walked away. He's left the room already.
but what are you doing Like, what are we doing that makes you not want to be a member? Is it financial? Because maybe if it's financial, then, if you can prove that you're on set income, or if you're on food stamps, or you don't have, literally you're living paycheck to paycheck and like you can't afford it, maybe you have like some kind of a scholarship or something. I don't know, but why is that? Why? I mean, I'd love to know that answer of why people are and why people aren't. Maybe they don't think they get anything out of it. Like, maybe they don't.
I would say there's definitely something we should dive deeper on that. One thing I do see, at least and the membership benefits, at least on the website, don't do anything of justice, because I've heard things like right now, currently listed on the website, you get as a member benefit the magazine. You get access to the Learning Center. You get access to ARRL periodicals, in their archive. You get their e-newsletters, and then you get a couple other services like their technical information service, so you can call them anytime to get information. You got their QSL bureau. You've got their email forwarding service, which nobody uses any. Like, I hate the ARRL email forwarding service. They should just shut the damn thing off. It's so stupid. But nobody needs an ARRL email account. I'm like, I don't. It annoys me to death. We have. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a rant here. We have 4 members in our club that have ARRL email addresses, and I send to them every time, and they always come back to me. I didn't get it. Well, then use a different email address, because your forwarding setup is not working. So, and then they do a bunch of other activities, leadership stuff. But I would be curious, because I hear from members like Bill and a few others that, like, hey, they offer cheaper insurance for radio protection. They offer like other things that I just not aware of, and it's not listed on their website, but it's obviously talked about. It'd be curious to see what that would be benefit-wise to answer your question.
The website could use definitely an upgrade to make it more.
It has already gone through an upgrade, but yeah, it definitely needs more upgrades.
But still,
it's still circa 1995.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's better. At least it formats to devices. Before it didn't. You'd have to do a lot of this to get to whatever you were looking for. Like, my biggest thing with ARRL, if they like sunk a shit ton of money into LOTW, I don't care. Like, that platform should be burned. It's garbage. It's a hot dumpster fire. I don't get the benefit. Like, I'm in IT. There are way simpler ways and more tighter, secure ways that I deal with companies and businesses that make billions of dollars every day to secure their borders and their information. And we're just making contacts. We're just validating contacts. We're not doing like moves of mountains. And their system is way harder to be able to set up, to get going, and to tweak. And they treat it like, we're moving gold from,
I don't even
Fort Knox to wherever. But
I go directly to QRZ, and then I think somehow QRZ might send it. I forget how.
No, it does. QRZ only downloads, doesn't it?
No, you can go both ways.
You can go.
Oh, you can. Okay.
But like, I don't even care about
pay for it.
Well, but here again, right? This is where like QRZ does it right. Okay, so the QRZ Life membership, I want to say, I think it's like $900. But if you start paying on it, right? So like I put $250 down, and so I'm good now. I think for the next like 5 years, I don't have to make another payment if I don't want to.
It's like $5 short of $1,000 for their life. Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you don't have to pay it all at once?
No.
No, you can
And-
schedule it.
Yeah, and but like you can schedule it on your terms. Like I said, I mean, I want to say I think I paid $250 up front, and I'm good for several years, and I could just make little payments, and it's not a big deal. Okay, so yes, I live on a fixed income. I have $4,000 a month, and that is all I get, and that's it. And I have to make sure that my mortgage is paid and everything else. And, you know, my wife has enough money to pay all the bills. And so when it comes down to it at the end, like I don't have a lot of extra funds to throw at my hobbies and the things that I enjoy. And so, you know, there's groups out there that they will be at least a little bit understanding to people in my situation. And they'll say, hey, you know, we get it. You know, inflation's through the roof, and you know, times are tough, and money's tight. So, you know, we're going to cover your membership for the year. I had a group this year and last year. They covered my membership for both years, and it was fantastic. I'm not super active in the group, but I'm active enough, and you know, it was another $60 a year. And I was like, well, fuck. I mean, I just don't have the 120 to throw at them, you know? So I greatly appreciated the fact that they were willing to cover my membership for the 2 years. But, you know, I'm willing to give my money to organizations that show me why they are deserving of my money. Because I mean, we're not all independently wealthy, you know, and not for nothing, but I got other hobbies I'm trying to fund, like $4,000 for a fucking skydiving license. You know?
Go to our Patreon page to help support Paul, because we all want to see him do more skydiving. So help in that way, or you know, donate. You know, you can always go to our website and donate.
Yeah, but so, you know, I guess at the end of the day, like that's my biggest bitch is I need to see value for the money that I'm paying out. And if I'm not seeing the value, then I'm not going to renew my membership.
Sure. So yeah,
I think, it kind of works on the, it kind of work, you know, what you're saying is, and it's what kind of like the Patreon members are like, they value our podcast or any podcast.
They can take it away just as fast.
Right. They can take it away. So if we suck and they don't want to, like, these guys are, I don't believe anything they say, and they want to get, they can take it away. But people support, you know, through Patreon because they support what you were doing. And I think it's like, I don't think it should be just I think you have to earn the members' dues, right? If you're the organization you're running, you need to earn the members' dues. You know, our club has a ridiculously low membership fee. Like I think we figured it out. Like it was like whenever it was set at $15 in today's money, it was like 88. It'd be $88, right?
Yep.
So I'm like we spend more on Wednesday's breakfast at Prest than you will.
Yep.
No, I'm just saying, like, as an individual, if you go and get like a burrito and a coffee, you know, you're getting close to $15, right?
If you're lucky. Yep.
So we could do a lot more with our club and for our members to make it better if we got, like, say $20-$25 a person, you know, not that much more, but it would help with a lot. We could do more things with it because we'd have more money coming in, and we could, you know, buy equipment for field day. We could, you know, whatever.
Or offer a life member installment plan.
Right. There's ways to do it. Like, I would do a life member installment. I didn't even know you could do that. That's why, like, I never do these life memberships. I'm like, shit, I don't have like $1,600 to drop out, you know, just give you $1,600. Like, I could be dead tomorrow. But if it was like a payment plan, like I could give them a couple $100 a year. Okay, great. You know, and then you get what do you get when you pay it off? You get a certificate,
nice little plaque.
Life member.
Well, that's the one thing with QRZ that drives me bonkers is like to pay that $9.95. Like they still charge you to send. Like, God, it is 2025 now. Anytime I get a certificate award, send me a digital certificate. Stop telling me you're going to charge me $20 to print a piece of paper and send it in a frame to me. I want the digital version. Like if I get the certificate,
print it out myself.
Exactly. Right. Like they give me a small little like logo on my website, but you can't zoom that logo to print it to put on like a, an E-frame or something like that. You have to purchase their certificates.
I like how POTA does it.
Paper. Yeah.
POTA, you can just download them and then print them out if you want.
Totally. Well, if you're a paid member of QRZ, you get X number of certificates free.
One. I'm at the $79 level, and I'm looking at it. I get one. I have more than one certificate, Paul. Which one do I pick? Come on, you tell me. Yeah, one a year.
How much does QRZ cost a year? I don't even remember.
It starts at $35, goes up to the lifetime, which Paul's at $9.95. So I'm at the $79 level.
So what do you get for $79 at the entry level?
A lot of extra stuff that I don't care about. So like my biggest core stuff I could probably get at their premium level is their premium level will start there. That's $45, $46 a year. You get the logbook, you get prior to customer support, which I'll never call. Oh, that's true because when I called, when I emailed them, they responded in fact. The XML call book service, which basically allows you to synchronize with your loggers and that stuff. You get the third-party logbook integration, which is the API key. You get the swap meet forms, which are big dumpster fires, and they should just tear all that shit down. Like that's just like garbage. Like I can't tell you, I won't get into it. There's just been a lot of crap. Ad blocking. I don't care, but like you're the one putting ads on your website. I get it, you're getting paid for it, but take them down anyway.
The XML lookup though, like, all right, think about this.
Yeah.
You're running Polo and you're out at a park.
Exactly.
You got cell service, right? You run 100 contacts. You're doing 100 QRZ lookups.
Yep.
For every single contact you put in your log, that's another lookup.
Yep.
And dude,
there's a benefit
to that alone is huge. That's huge.
How many do you get if you're not a member?
You're limited to 10. No, you're limited per hour. You're rate limited basically. So you can't like you can only do like 40 or 50 lookups. After that, you have to wait an hour or let the timer stop.
I got to look to see what membership I have because I've never had a problem with.
But those first 4 or 5 benefits are all value to me. Like that's 100% helps me do it. But like when it calls the call sign certificate, wall certificate, never going to use it. I don't put anything on my walls. QRZ award certificates.
Well, you're not going to do well on the shack roast. You're going to lose points for that.
I already lost. I already lost 500 points. So
you better get some shit on those walls.
All right, and so their
next
page
year,
design service.
Next year, I'm having all my POTA walls. I'm just gonna
you'll wallpaper your walls with.
I'm gonna take a picture of my shack, and then I'm gonna have the back screen is just gonna be POTA awards.
Why don't you just knit a blanket together? Be more creative. Their page design service. Now I know Paul used it. I don't care. Like it wasn't a big thing. I go to my own website because I have like more control with that. But in essence, I just have 2 images on my website on my QRZ page, which says go to my website or go to Live Free and Ham. So I don't want people to spend time at QRZ. I want them to go somewhere else. But case of Paul, I mean, he's been it's been the shining moment because shit. Anytime someone does a QRZ lookup in Polo, they see your dog. And they're like, oh, I got to go to his page. So, he's drawing traffic that way. So, yeah, it works for him and his benefit. They've got a membership honor roll, a wall certificate for lifetime membership, and a lifetime subscription for a spouse. Like my wife wants a QRZ subscription. See, your wife has already granted a QRZ subscription. Will she use it? I don't know.
Now, do you get that as a lifetime member before you paid it off, or do you have to pay it off first?
I guess so, yeah, because Paul said he's on a payment plan with that. So,
well, so I paid separate for the web design.
Yeah.
And I want to say I think it was $70. But to be honest, like I love my QRZ page, and so like I paid the $70. I had the guy design it. He took all of my feedback. I told him, I said, look, this is what I want. And he did it. And now, I mean, that was 21. So now we're in 25. Dude, the only thing I've ever done is update it. And I add new pictures and I add new things and you know, I change some wording. But like, I love that anybody can go to my QRZ page, right? And there's a link to my YouTube channel. There's a link to all of the clubs that I'm a member of. There's pictures of me in my VFW uniform. There's pictures of me and my wife. There's pictures of me and my dog. There's pictures of me skydiving. There's a link.
Todd.
There's a link that goes direct to my skydiving video. No, there's no pictures of my friends because I don't have any friends.
There we go. There's the grouch coming out in them. You should at least put that picture of the three of us doing our first POTA activation together. That's a good picture. That should be on your QRZ page.
Yeah, and that was one heck of a good memory. Yeah,
the dog will take precedence. It's more of a talking point than it is seeing us three sitting there taking a picture of each other. But yeah, all good. All right, so we've been going a little long on this one, but it's been awesome conversation. So I'm curious. We always got this discussion going on over in our Discord there. What's your take on memberships? We'll open up the conversation there and see what folks' opinions are. I'm sure we're going to have a shit ton of them, so we'll be ready for them.
Let's do it.
I got a question. Can we put like on our website? Can we put a poll?
We can do a Discord poll too. A
Discord poll of maybe we should do that. Of are you an ARRL member? Yes or no?
How do you want to word that one? Do you want to have a comment section after that? After?
Mama, comment. Want to know why you're not or why you are, because I'd like to see what other people think about it.
Let's do like, you ever see those like memes where they have a guy on the in the picnic bench that says ARRL member, prove me wrong.
Yeah.
See what the people come back.
Well, with. Like at my work, my administration, they're the most hated people. I mean, there's not one person I know that has any respect for the, and I've asked them, I said, maybe you should send out one of those monkey surveys about what we think of you anonymously, and you'll see like how bad you're doing. And they're just like, oh, that's a great idea, Todd. And then it's been like 5 years later, and I still haven't seen the survey.
Still a good idea, Todd. We're just not going to do it.
Yeah, because they don't want to hear it. But it may be, hey, if we get some good data, we could send it to the ARRL and be like, listen, our podcast members are not happy with you.
Do you still so we all have a disdain for the ARRL board. So when you were getting your QST, Paul or Todd, mostly Paul, when you read the articles, did you ever read the editorial when the CEO writes his little editorial? Do you read that? But before you read that, do you just have this disdain in your inner core that you're so fired up about before you start reading the article? Because I do.
No, to be honest, every time that I got it.
I know he doesn't get it.
I used to get the magazine in the mail every month, and I would read it cover to cover, and I always enjoyed the editorial because there was always some tidbit of information there. It was like a behind the scenes, and it was good. It was captivating, but. Yeah, no, I'm not going to stare at my fucking phone and read a goddamn magazine. I'm not going to do it.
We know what to torture Paul with now. Yeah. Just lock him in a room with his phone and make him read ARRL magazines till he's blind.
Just a tablet with ARRL magazine, nothing else. Exactly. I'm going to ask so I want the ARRL to send out a tablet of just magazines for Paul. Merry Christmas, buddy. Happy New Year. Happy birthday. Oh, you made your 4,000th jump. Here's a ARRL tablet with nothing but magazines. And it'll be updated monthly.
Well, you heard it here, guys. We could go for hours on this, and we're going to pick this back up in the Discord. So, if you want to come be part of that, we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We'll definitely put that poll together. We're curious to see, what you guys think. So we'll leave that to our chief summarizer in chief, Paul, to put that out there. So keep an eye out for that. But let's continue the conversation. What do you think about memberships? Are they valuable for you? Do you have a bunch of them, or are you the type of person that you have a tight fist of your money and it only goes to the individuals that earn their right to have your dollars? We want to hear about it. So with that, we are going to say that, if you want to reach out to us or you want to be part of a Live Free and Ham, there are a ton of ways to join us and hang out with us. Obviously, the Discord is a great way for you to do that. And we will make sure that this is posted in that chat, and, let us know. Tell us what's going on. Share some stuff. You can hang out in our Shack section. Always a great little place. That's been a lively conversation for a while now. We can definitely see folks getting improvements in 2.0 setups being deployed there, and we thank you for those updates. But you can always man, I'm falling apart here. Why can't I find the end of my? There we go. You can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always catch all the awesome content over there, and we're pumping out shorts left and right. So we have some good liquid gold there from some of our episodes. So keep, liking those and commenting and being part of the community there. And you can always, like I said, leave us a review. We love to hear from you. If you've got a question, you want to share something with us, you got to do good. We want to hear about it. You can text us via SMS. You can send us, a voicemail via our voicemail number. Or you could send us a quick email, or like we said, you're always welcome to come on the show. If you send us a nice little WinLink message and let us know, we'll make sure we get you on our next episode. And as always, like we said, we always like to do this show. But with every time we do the show, there's costs and expenses. And obviously now that we've got Paul thinking about skydiving, we got to start thinking about building those funds back up. So, that content's, needed and, very much wanted. So, you can help us out always by buying us merch off our storefront. You can always pick up our Live Free and Ham drams, because we only have a few of those left in stock, and you definitely know you want one if you are one of those spirits and liquor lovers, if there's such a thing. It sounds really weird to say, but whatever. And you can always head over to our Patreon and become a member there and get access to all of our back catalog, all of our episodes uncut, and all of our banter back and forth. And you also get a whole ton of value and benefits there, discounts, early releases to t-shirts and shirts and swag. And anytime that we are starting we'll be planning meetups hopefully in 2025 maybe, and when we do that, we'll be scheduling through our Patreon there first to give them exclusive access. So don't miss a beat. Head over there, and you can use our buy us a beer links too if you want to give us a one-time donation to help support the show. And you always head over to livefreeandham.com, because we got a crap ton of stuff over there. We're always keeping that site updated, and you can find everything you need to know about us, our hosts, the website, the show, and anything in between. And we have all of our affiliate links over there, so definitely go over there and support them too as well, because they help in turn support our show. And as always, thanks again for listening, and from all of us at Live Free and Ham, 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.